Hey there. So, if you are looking at assignment 5.1, that means you have gotten far enough into your research project to be able to tell me, okay, it's very likely that this is going to be ready to be approved so you can start putting together your inquiry questions, which you'll need for your proposal. So, we are going to start developing the specific inquiry questions. Now, what is that? When you are writing a paper, you are writing a paper that really is going to answer a series of questions. So the question that you put as your final proposal question right here, the capstone proposal question, when you wrote that on this particular document, this question, the proposed research question right here, that particular question is the question, if we approve it, that we're going to try to then further work by putting it on this document right here. Sorry, this document right here. You're going to put it right there. So let me say that again because I'm a little fast, right? This proposed research question, if it is approved, and we hope it then gets approved by the committee, then we're going to start taking a look at putting it right here for the specific question or problem. Okay? That gets done. The next thing you have to do is you have to come up with five more specific questions that are called inquiry questions because this is a major research project. So you're going to basically become a world expert on this topic. That's your goal. So in order to do that, you have to be able to speak to this topic on five major questions right here. You're going to put those questions together. There is no formula because everyone's topic and research question is different. Everyone's sub research question is going to be different. And these are narrower questions. And what's going to happen is you're going to write the question in, and then you're going to write the sub question under it, the deeper inquiry question. And for each one of your questions, you're going to go through here and you're going to have to answer. And I'm going to have to agree with you. So make sure that your five sub questions are five questions that I agree with. If you come up with more than five questions, that's fine, as long as the questions all agree. It's a minimum of five questions. Now, the first question you ask of your question to test if it's good enough is, does the question have an appropriate scope or purpose? So is it really broad enough, and does it focus on something that's an important aspect of the issue? So is it important? If the answer is yes, good, right? Yes, move on. If the answer is no, then you already know that you have to go back and look at it. Don't bring the questions to me and ask me to do this for you. You have to do this first, and you have to be able to defend it. And if I don't agree that it's defensible, I'm going to send you back to do it again. And your job is to figure this piece out. This is one of those, like you're going to face in college, a teach yourself kind of moment to dig deep to say, does it focus on an important part of it? Then, number two, is the question useful? Will it lead to meaningful inquiry? In other words, is it going to bring out really meaty stuff? Is it going to actually matter? Is it something that you can answer through research? Okay, you're talking about philosophy and the meaning of life. Not necessarily answerable through research. An important question, but maybe not so much in research. All right, is the question understandable and clear? If you can't understand what the question says and you can't explain what the question is, don't do it. Then does it require multiple answers? So if the question is, how long has something been around? Well, that's only one answer. It's not multiple answers, right? So you have to have questions that have multiple answers. And is your question's answer unknown to you? Do you not understand it? Now, if you're looking at me and you're saying, I don't really know what you mean, can you give me an example, Mr. Tush? I'm going to do that right here. We have an example, and this one I didn't come up with originally. This is from a project from a couple of years back, and the research question is, how does having an incarcerated parent affect student achievement? So, how does having parents who are incarcerated in prison or in jail affect a student's ability to do well in school? That's the overarching question. Now, the sub questions are going to check out different pieces of this. The first one is, how does the incarceration of the parents affect students academically? So, does it have the appropriate scope or purpose? Well, yeah, it definitely covers student achievement. Does it focus on an important aspect of the issue? Yeah, the actual effect, the things that make it more challenging for those kids. Good. Is it useful? Will it lead to meaningful inquiry? Absolutely. If we're talking about how it affects student achievement, we're going to look at how it affects them academically. Look at grade performance, right? Is the question answerable through research? Yep, absolutely. There's going to be plenty of articles. And if you're not sure, then you go to the Connecticut Public Library, at the Connecticut State Library, the one that we did in 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, you go back and you check it out. If you can find articles in there, then you know it's researchable. If you can't find any articles, then you better reframe your question. 4, is the question understandable or clear? This question right here, how does the incarceration of the parents affect students academically? It's a very clear question. I understand what I'm asking. What's the impact on student grades? It's very easy to understand. Does it require multiple answers and possibly more questions? Absolutely. You have to look at, are there more than one effect? Do kids get affected emotionally? Do kids get affected academically? Is their stress level higher? Does it affect math more than English or English more than math? I don't know. And these are all questions that you're going to get answers to as you research it. And do you know it? Well, I'm assuming that you can certainly assume that I don't know because I have an idea that there is an effect and I've seen the impact, but I can't answer this like a scholar. So you're going to have to be able to answer this like a scholar. If you can come up with a yes for all of that, then you go on to question number 2. In what ways can parental incarceration affect their children besides academically? So this is the academic question, and this is other than academics. And then you go right down through it for the 1 through 6. Chances are, if you get this done in less than a period and you hand it to me, you're probably going to hand 4 or 5 of them back. This is the kind of thing that you have to be able to say that you've gone out to the library, you've researched these questions, there's research, there's more than one answer. Each of these questions you should have done some preliminary research on. If you just make them up and throw them on the page, they won't work. You need to spend time dealing with these questions. So that's why we made sure you have a solid research question. Then we gave you this video to get started. And then I want you to go ahead and work on these specific questions. Go ahead and get started on it. When you have drafts to bring in and you think you've got yeses for all 30 of these. So 6 questions with 5 questions with 6 yeses each. We've got all 30 yeses. Then we'll sit down and we'll see if it's ready to go. Okay? That's your job. Good luck.